one. Mostly I do VR stuff in VR. But I'm not going to talk about VR today. I'm going to talk about one project I did, which was very influential in my later career, let's say. So back in 2021, there was a public procurement for a mobile video game with AR function and 4 short VR movies. And it was for Kaunas municipality, which is the second biggest city in Lithuania. And the project had a pretty good lump of sum. It was 150,000. So yeah, why not? I love game development. We did some game development with a company, but usually it's like for museums, small web games, so nothing pretty big. And we saw that the tender was written actually not for us. If you have any experience with tenders, public procurements, it's not very clean. So we didn't have much hope, but our sales department worked really, really well, and somehow we won. Yeah, it was quite an unexpected thing. So we had 1 year to do 4 VR 360 short movies, like 5 minutes for each. We have to do a mobile game for both platforms, Android and iOS. We had to do a comic book together and translate everything into 3 languages. While I love VR, I hate filmed VR, so I had no input whatsoever into 360, and I'm not going to talk about it. So the concept was, the initial concept that they provided for us and we had to deliver is location-based augmented reality experience. There are 9 locations or 10 locations, I don't really recall now, spread around the city. So 5 locations in the city center, in the old town, and 5 locations around the city. So yeah, we can do that. We did that before. We know how to do that. But there was a twist. So we have a deadline for May. We thought, okay, it's half year for pre-production and be as ready as much as we can for production, because I don't have staff. The staff will come later on. I have only like 1 or 2 people with me, 1 actually person with me for pre-production. And the marketing was left for the municipality, which was another story, tragic story. So, well, the thing is the ambition, right? Our ambition, yes, that's our kind of first real game. So what we're saying is that this is our pitch when we already won the competition. So augmented reality, I actually left the Lithuanian language. I thought it's funny because when I came here, I can understand some of the Latvian things where I go in the street, and it's pretty interesting. So I thought I'm going to leave the Lithuanian parts here that I had from my other documents. So, so augmented reality is not really well understood technology for people. If it's a location-based experience, you have to go there. So people have to go to a specific place. Well, it's okay for an old town. The places are nearby. But if you have to go like 30, 40 kilometers, that's not really good. You can't really finish the game. So we narrow down the audience. And it's 10 experiences in total. So who's going to visit all 10 places, right? So we thought we are fragmenting the audience, fragmenting the content, and it's only a few people will actually feel the full experience. So what we what we propose is let's do an open world RPG game with all these 10 location-based AR experiences as actual side quests that you don't have to actually do them. It's like you will have a game in your mobile phone, and you'll have 10 main quests about these locations, and there will be like side characters that you have to like talk with them, and then you will have to go and visit these locations for additional quests. Yeah, so 10 main quests in the game, 10 augmented reality side quests. There are 10 worlds, 9 worlds in the game. each represent a different part of Kaunas history. And the story is that our character is a historian. He kind of time travels and moves around different parts of Kaunas history from 13th century till 20th century. So every world is a unique part of Kaunas history in time. And if you like, there we integrated YouTube links for 360 videos, aka VR. So it's an open world. You can travel from any place to whichever place you want. Side quests are like main quests. They don't have linear requirement. You can do any quest as you like, and only when you finish 10 main quests, the game finishes, because you fulfilled your mission. So, I don't know, do you know what the game is that? Yeah, this is Fallout 2, New Reno, and this is like a game I was playing furiously when I was growing up, and this game had the most important quest in my life because I didn't know that you could do quests like these. It was, has anyone of you played quests Fallout 2? Cool. So there was a quest of solving the murder in New Reno. There are 4 fighting families who try to control the town. And one family asked you to solve a suspected murder of Kingpin's son. So, like, the doctors say it's a natural cause, right? But he suspects a foul play. And if you're clever, and it's all about you and not your stats, you go all around this town and trying to find out, so what really happened? Is it a foul play? Is it natural causes? If it's a murder, who is responsible? And it's like an hour long just walking around, and even more, and just talking and trying to like piece all the puzzle pieces together. So I thought, this is amazing quest. It changed my perspective on RPG games at the time. It's not just fetch quest. Let's do that for for our game. So cool. We have 9 worlds with different aesthetics. We do an isometric perspective, as you know, you have to do it for an RPG game. There's loads of historic and fictional characters because we had to like work with historians and provide accurate material. We have to do tons of dialogue. We decided not to do choices in dialogues because it was too much. We can already see that. We had the item integration with quests mechanic. You had a backpack. We didn't have a primary gameplay loop, so it's mostly, but it's all about talking. Like, you walk and talk with people and you solve detective stories. We had some ideas how to implement simple gameplay loops for your monkey brain, but we didn't have time. So it's all about just interacting with the world and finding stuff and finding interesting people. Yeah, it's linear storytelling. When you meet the character, when you press on it, you get these cards, and just slide these cards up, and that's how you interact with the characters in the world. So the idea was, how do we approach the storytelling? So Fallout, it's fourth wall breaking, self-deprecation, self-referencing, and postmodern approach. We did that. It's like, let's do a game that makes fun of himself. Let's do people in like 15th century who talk in modern ideas and, you know, self-reflect about their situation. This small comic was like our top priority for a humor we want to achieve, and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy was also like our idea to talk little but have a comic effect. So pre-production, it was me and Arturas. My right hand, we really worked a lot. I had only one big project on my hands, and we were quite good at that. We had a writer, Andreas, who is like has 20 years of experience in role-playing game master, and he's amazing. I really grew up as a writer working with him. Small thing about writers, 20 writers applied for the writing of the RPG quest game. only 2 passed, and 1 eventually left because of the lack of work ethics, and his humor wasn't as we intended. Most of the writers write too writerly. They don't know how to write like quests, or they don't understand that they have to use like really simple language. So that's what I learned, that we have writers, but not game writers, right? But the good thing is that all 3 of us were more or less writers. Before I transitioned to like creative tech, I did work a lot with text. My background is in philosophy and religious studies and humanities, etc. So it's really good combo for like pre-production for RPG game, because we could just prepare a whole text, whole narrative, etc. And we had 1 Unity prototyper for concept verification. That's it, half a year. So this little show how this works, how the quest worked. So although there's only 1 choice, you always slide up, but there are so many characters, and you have to speak with certain characters at a specific time. You have to work between, like travel between times and meet other characters to progress the story. And you also have to have specific items in your inventory to progress the quests. Yeah, so the many intertwined details that make it more challenging for players. The idea is that we were leaning, we had to do the game inspired based by this idea of mythical beast of Kaunas. This is a like a concept that Kaunas had like several years ago, that Vilnius has his own mythical beast. It's an iron wolf. I'm not sure about Riga, but Kaunas felt like we need to mythical beast of ourselves, and they did a promo campaign, and people sent their ideas, and a famous writer and a designer made a concept for Kaunas beasts. So this is our like touching ground for us. We need to make a story out of mythical beast, and we started like working with the designer behind the concept. They had already like an IP of some sort. They had some comic books, so we thought that this is going to translate well to a low poly isometric game. Because of the mobile phones, we really need to work on performance. So we kind of started seeing if these characters come alive in 3D environment. They do. They're kind of weird, but we started animating them. And yeah, half a year goes quickly. I still have no team, more or less. Other projects of the company are late and no staff to spare. Still has like 3 of us or 4 non-technical people. So I look for freelancers in various fields. Some of them are cool, some of them are not really cool, and they lie on their resume, and they, like a guy who says he worked at this specific good company, says he knows how to model, and he does low poly stuff, buildings, and I didn't check the topology because I thought, yeah, he worked. And for him, low poly was like aesthetics, not the topology at all. So we learned that like 4 months later, because I thought, no, he's like a professional guy. It was terrible. We had to remodel everything he'd done. So the godsend thing was that 4 interns wrote to us at it was like 5th month already, and 4 interns from like something related to game development wrote to us. I was like, oh my God, I don't have people. I took them in. They were like 2nd year students, like 20 years old. They have little or no Unity background, little or no Blender understanding. It's like they just, okay, we want to do games, right? So they couldn't do Unity. That's too hard for them. But they kind of got, okay, with Blender, they know how to do that. So, okay, you're going to do Blender stuff. I do a crash course on how low poly aesthetics and techniques, level design, world building. It's like, this is a good low poly, this is a bad low poly, how to make it, aesthetics clean and consistent across. Of course, it took time for them to understand what is consistency in low poly environments. December comes, right? So it's May. May, we have to finish the product. And December comes, I still have no internal staff. Most of the quests and dialogues are written already, and we have hand-drawn maps, concepts. We have a gray box isometric prototype, proof of concept. So you can walk there, you can move through worlds. All of them are just gray boxes. There's a slide mechanic with like interacting with people, but there's no content. We have started working on low-poly building models, which is pretty simple, like just low-poly buildings. We took loads of reference and just did it. The guys, the interns, did a good job, better than the guy who said he's a pro modeler. And in December, the art director, the guy who created the art style, he bailed. He's like, no, I think I'm not gonna work here. Like, it's like, and he does not give rise to the art style. Like, I'm calling the municipalities, like, and they say, yeah, he's a really like strange person. The lady actually said that it's actually good that he's not working with you because he's very slow. And yeah, you have to find out what to do now. It was one of the worst Decembers ever in my life. Like, we're a team of writers, right? We can't just produce something out of like the art direction. And we have provided, there were milestones in the agreement that we have to provide some milestones every like 2 months. So we provide the milestones. We have provided gray box levels with mechanics and quests written in documents, right? So they were tolerant at first. We were just like, yeah, we're gonna send you stuff for later. Yeah, it's gonna work out, yeah. But now municipality smells blood. Like, something's not happening. It's December, right? We don't have anything. We have gray box levels and no art, nothing. It's like 10 worlds, no art. So they start pushing us, like, where's content? Like, I was in a deep shit, and the company is like, yeah, it's like, it's your project, you know? Everyone's busy. You have to, like, you have some money, you can, like, you know the profit margins? You can use 1/3 of the budget. Go. So, what we learned is that municipality has the rights to the beast concept. So we at least all the story is still consistent because we wrote everything about this, like, related to this mythical beast. So we kind of have lots of low poly buildings done. We have this mythical beast, which is kind of low poly. I was like, I remember, so I was sitting at the computer and looking for low poly models, right? I have 4 interns who will be my modelers. They don't know shit about modeling. So I found this, this low poly model pack. I double checked with the author if we can like build upon it. I checked with my guys, with my interns. Do they understand how this works? We like back engineered everything, how it works. And this pack saved us in like before Christmas, right? This is my Christmas present. We made 180 unique characters out of this, animated. The interns were terrific. They just had so much fun to create stuff. We just sent them references and they just created so many new characters. I get internal staff 2 weeks after New Year, so it's like 2.5 months left. Like open world RPG, 20 quests, 10 of them are mandatory. All of them are mandatory, more or less. So we do a sprint. So as I said, the internship has been over. So I hired 3 out of 4 of them. The 4th decided not to join. Too bad. He wanted to like study hard. So as I said, one girl transitioned to illustration, wonderful illustrator. We did 160 or 180 unique characters here. We had map concepts like these. We had to do maps out of them. Because I hired a bunch of people, we were working with 4 different modeling softwares in one time. So can you guess which ones? Blender, Maya, 3D Max. Yes, Cinema 4D. And sometimes, you know, you open up a map and we have this shit. I love this actually. This is like this is I have saved it as my desktop background. So Yeah, it's like everyone's working on different modeling softwares. Nobody really knows how to work well. We kind of reach a good-looking isometric levels, but these are using like nice shaders, nice environment, nice lighting, shadows. Yeah, it looks good, but on a mobile phone, you can't have shading like that. You can't have light, real-time shadows, etc. They didn't know how to bake shadows, also. So, yeah, we had problems like these. It's really bad. Levels eventually ended up like these. These are like floating islands in space. It's pretty good. I like it. We achieved the consistency in style and in low poly. That's what people like more or less saw. Yeah, this is an amazing level where you have to defend Kaunas castle from Crusaders, and yeah, after you finish the quest, you don't have to come back to this map, to this world. But we completely rechanged the map and show the outcome for the people who would come back to the map. They didn't have to, but if they come back, they would see how the castle was conquered eventually. Yeah, I don't know how many people saw, but it was an amazing piece of art what we did. Yeah, so this is the style we opted for. There were, of course, always some very strange things. Portals. Portals were a disaster for us. When we released the game, we had to do like patches because sometimes people would get stuck. Portals would disappear. Yeah. So eventually we had 60 unique talking characters with illustrations, the ones that you interact with directly to solve quests. Yeah, every time, like he says a sentence, you swipe up and he's like in different pose, you know, it's like saying something, showing. We had 100 comic slides done, and I shit you not, it was 1,000 illustrations in total. We, in like less than half a year. And yeah, of course it was we didn't like, AR was easy. Like we knew how to do it. We just sent developers to the places. We did the simple quests where, you know, people left something back in 21st century because they time travel. So it was easy. The side quests were not really a big part of our problems. We know how to do it. Yeah, just it took some time. Like we would have finished the project just with this and be happy, but we weren't. We were really ambitious. So for these 3-4 months, we had regular crunch time, game jams, hackathons, pizzas, colas, whatever. And we created 3 hours of in-game content, excluding AR quests. So if you go and visit, yeah, 5 minutes, lovely. If you go and visit all the locations, it's much more content. We were regularly harassed and summoned to Kaunas from Vilnius to do reports of some sort. VR films were deemed bad after we filmed them, and they required us. Actually, it's like a sabotage, but we couldn't. We were really in trouble, so we had to redo all the films from new, all 4 of them. What sustained us is really like memeing in messaging. It was fucking hard, but we did it. We did loads of Easter eggs in the game. We had 100 pages of text and translated into 3 additional languages. Yeah, I had to edit all of them. Yeah, translations weren't very good. We didn't have QA. That's a disaster. People, that's like worst thing ever. Like everyone tried to do big QA. I couldn't play the game anymore at the end of the production cycle, and I haven't played the finished game. That's it. The name. We were like looking for the best name of the game, and 2 months before the release, they said, "Oh, actually, the funding we got, it's called the New Hanseatic Way, and you have to call the game this way." It's like the worst name ever for a game. It's like, what? how do you sell this thing, right? Even if it's for free. So we even have to change the storyline in production cycle to fit the game's name. So we didn't make it on time. We were late for 2 months. We paid the fine. We did the job. I left the company after we did the initial release. My colleagues went fixing bugs and doing additional stuff for 1 more month. I was completely burned out. I went to my village and I didn't speak with people for 3 months. And I didn't work for 1 year. It was the hardest job of my life. I did everything what I can. I haven't worked so much. And after this game, it's like, fuck it, it's so easy. Everything is so easy now. Whatever I do is so easy. Yeah, and we had, the municipality did not have marketing at all. So we provided content, we provided text, additional images, and they have 3 failed public procurements for website and marketing services because no one really wanted to take the job for this small amount of money. So they started marketing 9 months after the release. So they have a very nice website actually now, but I don't have one. I have 1 minute. So this is the marketing. This is the concept. This is what we did for like, this is our poster. And my friend sent this from Kaunas. Can you, this is how they like marketed the game. It was painful. I was already out of the company and was like, fuck it, man, that's not, but amazing, we won the best mobile game of the year actually. This is our prototyper. This is Arturas, my henchman, and the guy who made it possible, and Jonas, the illustrator. Amazing team. We were around 20 people, 10 key people, including me. So how I learned to stop worrying and love game dev, I just went through the hell, really. I have some ideas about passion and game making and what is happening right now. I'm fully working with games right now. I work with different companies. We have our own company. I work as writer, producer, and director in different projects. And it's 1 minute. And this is my last slide. We just released yesterday, a day before yesterday, we released our short experience, narrative experience. It's called Unveiling. It's about a UFO abduction, but it's not what you think. So check it out on Steam. It's an artistic piece, narrative game. Pretty psychedelic. People kind of like it. It's just €3 now, and we decided to do it in 2 months, of course. Yeah, it was also hell, but I love it. And if you want to reach out, yeah, I don't use LinkedIn. You can find me on Twitter. That's it. Sorry for my rapid speech.
You should polish this a bit and just do a stand-up. Okay, any questions?
All right. Yeah, thank you for the presentation. I guess what I wanted to ask is, being on the other side of it, would you do it again?
Like with the knowledge I have right now, for sure. I mean, as I said, I stopped worrying and I love it now. It's yeah, it's not as everything now looks easy after that, more or less. It's like, yeah. So I would love. That's why I came back after I refreshed after a year doing nothing, just really doing nothing. I thought I'm gonna come back and do stuff, and I think with the experience I gained in IT before and now in game dev, and being a gamer from whole my life, I think I can do some difference back home in my country, and I would love to do more stuff, and we're doing it. And I hope to do something with you today. Also, let's talk about co-production and see what we can do. There's many public funding opportunities that we can use.
Right, and as a developer, the question to you goes also as a writer. How do you define RPGs as to what it is? What are the game's criteria to be as an RPG?
Very good question, because I wouldn't call this game an RPG. This is an RPG for like newcomers, right? You don't have stats. You have a specific character you have to act out. You don't have a. You cannot choose a role. And yeah, no stats, no fights. So it's RPG for beginners. For me, RPG is mostly about having a role you play. Yeah, it's something that you have to choose something, and I love role-playing, like real role-playing games, like tabletop, where you pick a role and you stick with it. Right? You have to embody it like an actor. So for me, it's always role-playing games are about first like having a fantasy, an actor, an avatar of some sort, and having a story there.
We really need 2 mics.
It's fine. Right, so by that criteria, Doom Eternal, it's a role-playing game. Oh, come on. All right, so the question then is walking simulators, games or not? Walking simulators.
It's a very good question. I'm trying to, like, what we have right now in Lithuania, I'm not sure in Latvia too, but how do we position games? Is it a cultural object or is it a business, right? And this is like very interesting challenge for me myself, like to interpret it as a art, but also as a business, and to have this communication with the government or like ministries. Like sometimes you position it as a business model, which is pretty risky, especially what's happening right now, you know, in the world with game development. Or sometimes you go to the culture ministry and trying to portray game as an interactive medium, and medium can have any kind of content. So with this game, we're trying to say that a game is not, you know, an arcade game. A game can be an interactive experience, artistic, a short story of some sort, where you walk into and have some agency to feel the narrative, to experience the narrative. It's like story living. You know, you live the story. Yeah, it's a very good question. As I said, culture and business and games. And it's like, I love it. You know, you have to do both of them.
So thank you for the presentation. There was a question from the chat, and it was like asking if the interns were paid in the company.
So the first, I think the internship was for 2 months. Internships were not paid, and it's not required according to the law. But when the internship was over, we hired them. As I said, I would have hired all 4 of them, but one declined.
Why did they decline?
The guy, he was actually very talented, but he was like, I have to study very hard. I have he had like academic achievements in mind. So that's the only reason. I would love to have him back.
Right. Any more questions? If not, thank you again so much. Yeah, definitely clap. And now we are having a break till 8. So tired. So hello, let's continue the meetup. There's like a lot less people now here. Okay, so I see you needed a break. But we're gonna continue, and the next thing it is, if you could click, yes, is news. Jāzeps. Could you? So let's quickly go over the news, and then it's up to you guys to do the speaking. So the first thing is Latvian Game Developers Association is having a member meeting on 19th, which means a new board, elections, new people doing things. So that's for members only, but please come there and decide the future of this association. The next thing is, I keep reminding, so there are 3 EU projects, 2 of them probably not that interesting for you. One of them in immersive video games and immersive content development. If you have an established company, maybe you want to apply for this. The deadline is rather short, but you can still make it. The next thing, Global Game Jam. We're going to have the main organizer of Global Game Jam telling us more right after I do this one. And Latvian Game Awards, also happening in March. We still don't know the date, right? Yeah, we still don't know the date, but it's happening in March. And this year, finally, the main award will be given out by our Minister of Culture. So we would be absolutely happy that if you would come to the event. Then more grants, Nordic Culture Point grants. So these are grants that you can use if you want to go to events in the Nordics, or if you want to stay in some sort of, co-creation living house for creative industries or something like that. Yeah, also in April, you can just keep your ears open. There's going to be a new call for Latvian Investment Agency's incubator. And this time, for the first time ever, games are also mentioned as one of the main industries that are supposed to get support from that. And the last thing is, in December, there was a very lovely release of one of our companies, HyperVR, which released on MetaQuest devices their pets and stuff, pet cleaning, grooming game. So I don't see anyone from that company here, but congratulations on your release. So let's quickly go. Yeah, still looking for speakers. If you know someone or if you want to speak, just scan the QR code. Then, yeah, these are the more information on the Global Game Jam. Yeah, let's listen to Global Game Jam. What's happening there?
Hi, I'm Mother. I'm the main organizer of this year's Global Game Jam. This is, sorry, I don't like mics. I am Mother. I'm 3rd year organizer of Latvian Global Game Jam. And the Global Game Jam worldwide will be from 22nd of January till 28th. But in Latvia, we're going to host traditional 48 hours. This is the wrong time, but in 26th, we're going to start at 5. And if you want to sign up, you can scan the QR code and sign up now. You have to be signed on the site in 27th, 11 in the morning. I don't know, PM, AM. If you have any questions, come talk to me or go to GameDev Discord. And what I wanted to say, I will send reminders for people who are registered with details what to bring and what not to bring to the jam site. And let's respect each other, space that are given by ECA, and let's have a great weekend of the end of the month. Yeah, thank you. Laura?
Yeah, thank you. And don't forget Global Game Jam. Please attend. It's free for all. Also, I hear legends that there's going to be pizzas again. So, what do I have? What have I put down here? Yeah, the Nordic funding. The first one is mobility funding. There is quite a lot of paperwork, but they do pay you for the travel, the per diem money, and also for attending the event and accommodation. So maybe that's something for you. I don't know. What is this? Oh, yeah. That's the game released by Hyper VR. And there's even sound. So yeah, if you know of any other milestones for our companies or our game developers, it would be great if you could tell me, because I do try to follow our companies and our developers, but I do miss stuff. So if there are, releases, or maybe you exit early access, or maybe you do crowdfunding, maybe we can promote this and help you guys out. How do I move forward? No, I'm gonna play it again. Okay. Yeah, last time I forgot show and tell. This time I put in the slide so I wouldn't forget. So if there's anybody who has anything to show and or tell, this is the moment we would love to have you on the stage. Do you want to show and tell?
Hi guys, can you hear me? Yes, you can. So there are 3 things I would like to tell you. So join my global game jam team. I think I will do a turn-based game in Unity. Most likely there's like a asset pack for discount until the end of the day. I think I'll try to get it. And I did an interview podcast with the founder of Brain Games. And you can find it on my YouTube channel, neguli.podcasts. The interview is in Latvian though. And then also I would like to invite you to test my board game, which is there on the table. It takes at least an hour to 2 hours to finish. So yeah, just some more information. This is the YouTube channel where you can find the interview. And the board game I'm making is called Centurion Hex, at least for now. My plan for the next time is to make a digital prototype and maybe a YouTube video, so I would learn how to talk about the game and explain the mechanics. So yeah, thanks.
Do you have any questions to Siemens about what he just said? No. Okay, so please do help him out testing the game. As we found out in today's speech, testing matters. And maybe check out his podcast. So, anyone else wants to show and or tell? This is like so overwhelming. So many people just want to talk. Oh yeah. Who of you maybe want to pitch already and look for people for Global Game Jam? Yeah? Do you have something to say? You can come here. Nope. No one? Only Siemens? Okay. So, I guess that's it for show and tell. Nobody else? Right. What do we have next? Well, if we would have made this longer, maybe we would have had the game. I don't know. This time we see Elvis is not here, so sadly, we have to skip the game as well. That's it, right? See you on February 14, which is St. Valentine's Day. Thank you, and get drinks and network and play games.